Hello, everybody. This is ex Wallkill Bethelite here, and I say ex Wallkill Bethelite because I was laid off from Bethel. I wasn't dismissed because of any disciplinary matter, and I did not leave on my own accord. There were layoffs, and these layoffs happened just like a secular layoff would happen. And you would expect more from Jehovah's organization than you would from a secular place of employment. Because at a secular place of employment, you're not expecting them to be loving. You're not expecting them to have any kind of concern about you, really whatsoever. But at Bethel, that is an entirely different thing. It's supposed to have not just a higher standard, but there's supposed to be a higher standard there at Bethel than there is at the regular congregation. So what actually happened was I'm in my assignment and I get taken into a room with a couple of elders. And believe it or not, they just start talking about random things about the weather and what have you before finally getting to the point as if it was no big deal. And they're saying, hey, we're looking at the different departments and we're trying to see where we can make cuts. And as soon as they said that, I'm thinking, huh? And unfortunately, you're one of them. And we're going to be expecting you to leave. And you can't imagine the shock that hit me when they said that. And I'm as shocked as I was. I'm thinking, okay, there's some kind of an arrangement made. They didn't explain any kind of arrangement as to how this was going to happen. So I just go back to my assignment, go back to work. I'm pretty sad and distraught. And later I'm in my room. And I remember that week trying to contact people, trying to go ahead and start the job search. And I knew that I was at some point going to ask them, well, how much time do I have to find a job, find a place to stay and get things situated? Well, that week, no one called me or anything. A Bethel elder showed up at my room with brothers from the moving department. And those brothers just began putting my things in boxes. And the Bethel elder was just asking me questions that with regards to, what items were mine, what items were my roommates, so that they made sure to put the right items in boxes. Then he asked me where my car was, and I told him it was parked right outside of the C residence. Well, they began piling my belongings into my car, and they told me to leave my key and my dwelling manual at the front office and then to leave. And, I did it and I was just shocked. And to this day, I believe that it's morally wrong. It's unloving because Bethelites don't have any money that they're really paid. If you're literally laying off Bethelites, you have to think about this. You're asking them not to just, no longer have their assignment, but they have to leave where they're living currently, and they have to leave where they're living currently now. At the time of, they're asked to leave, they have to leave now. They don't get 30 days notice or anything like that. And this is secular. They're not being loving. It's just the law. Secularly, you have to give 30-day notice. Bethel doesn't give 30-day notice. They just tell you to leave, and you got to leave now. And it's a situation where I can't think of a single Catholic priest, bishop, anyone who has dedicated their life to their church and was just asked, hey, we're looking to make cuts for whatever reason, and you're one of them, and you got to go, and you got to go now. That just doesn't happen, and we're talking about Christendom. So you mean to tell me that Satan takes better care of members of Christendom than Jehovah does members of his organization? Keep in mind, this is illogical because Satan has to oversee hundreds, if not thousands, of different churches if he's over all of them. And Jehovah only has to oversee the one. and Bethel. And you mean to tell me that Satan is taking better care of his people in Christendom than Jehovah is taking care of his people at Bethel? Not even giving you a 30-day notice, no arrangement, no anything. If you don't have a car and they're asking you to leave, what do they expect you to do? Walk from New York to wherever you're supposed to go? They don't tell you where to go. It's just entirely unloving what happened. It is below secular standards, let alone the standards that should be kept by the one true organization. And not only that, but when I finally did get figured out where I was going to go, got into a congregation and called Bethel to get my records sent over. They didn't know where my records were. So it took me forever to be able to do anything at any hall because they lost my records. You talk about not having any concern whatsoever. They lost my records. So I understand that there were now I understand that there were doctrinal issues where there were flip-flops. Maybe one thing was believed and it did not occur. That's one thing. And I can understand people not being perfect. This goes beyond not being perfect. This goes beyond, we know what Bible standards are, and we choose not to follow those standards nor to be loving because of financial reasons or whatever the purpose was in laying Bethelites off. So you guys tell me what you think about that. This is ex-Bethelite signing out.